Let me to explain the paradigmatic shift. We act not as mere managers of resources, not as administrators of processes, but as architects of human possibility. And I want to begin with a truth that should humble us all. In a world where the road isn't visible, people don't follow the path. They follow the person. Let that settle for a moment. Because everything we believe about leadership, every framework, every strategic model, every carefully constructed roadmap, falls away when uncertainty descends like fog upon us all. And uncertainty is descending. The playbooks that brought us here are being rewritten in real time. The markets we mastered are morphing beneath our feet. The technologies we invested in are obsolete before the ink dries on the procurement orders. The certainties of yesterday have become the question marks of today, and tomorrow promises only acceleration of this magnificent, terrifying transformation. So what happens when the GPS fails? When the strategic plan becomes obsolete halfway through the fiscal year? When disruption isn't coming, it's here, it's now, it's constant? This is when leadership transcends management. This is when your people, brilliant, capable, anxious people, stop looking at the horizon and start looking at you. They are not looking for your expertise in this moment. They can Google expertise, they can hire consultants, they can crowdsource solutions from 1,000 voices across 1,000 platforms. What they cannot download, what they cannot outsource, what they desperately need and can only get from you is something far more primal. The courage to move forward when the destination is obscured. Let me tell you what separates leaders who navigate uncertainty from those who are paralyzed by it. It isn't intelligence, though God knows we need that. It isn't experience, though that serves us well. It isn't even vision, as critical as that is. It is conviction. It is the bone-deep certainty that even when you cannot see the endpoint, the act of moving forward with integrity, with purpose, with unwavering commitment to your values, this creates the path. The ancient Romans had a concept, auctoritas. It's where we get the word authority, but it meant something deeper, something earned rather than bestowed. It meant that quality which made people choose to follow you, not because they had to, but because in your presence they felt capable of things they thought impossible. This is what our moment demands. Your teams are watching you. They're not watching your PowerPoint presentations. They're not watching your quarterly metrics, though those matter. They're watching how you stand when the ground is shaking. They're watching whether you flinch or whether you face forward. They're watching to see if your values are decorations for the good times or foundations you'll defend in the hard times. And here's what I need you to understand. Your uncertainty is showing anyway. You cannot hide it, and you shouldn't try. The leaders who pretend they have all the answers in times of genuine ambiguity aren't inspiring confidence. They're eroding trust. Because your people are not fools. They can smell artifice. They can detect performance. What they need is not your infallibility. What they need is your authenticity. Your willingness to say, I don't know what's around that corner, but I know who we are, I know what we stand for, and I know we're going to face it together. That word, together, that's where transformation lives. Because a leader who moves alone is just a person taking a walk. A leader who inspires others to move with them, to bring their full creativity and commitment to bear on challenges no one has solved before. That's how organizations don't just survive uncertainty, they're forged by it. Consider this. Every major innovation in human history emerged not from comfort, but from necessity, from challenge. From the white space where the map runs out and someone had to decide whether to turn back or press forward. The leaders who created enduring organizations, who built movements, who changed industries, they didn't wait for clarity, they created it. Your leadership is not measured by the decisions you make when the data is clear and the path is lit. Anyone can do that. Your leadership is measured by who you become when everything is ambiguous, when the stakeholders are anxious, when the board is questioning, when your own executive team is looking to you and asking silently, can you get us through this? And the answer, the only answer that matters, is not found in your strategic acumen alone. It's found in something deeper. It's found in whether your people believe that following you, even into uncertainty, is worth the risk. Whether they trust not just your competence but your character. Whether they've seen you make the hard calls that protected values over expedience, that chose long-term mission over short-term optics, that put people before politics. This is the moment when you earn the title you hold. Not when you were promoted, not when the board voted. Now, when the road disappears and your people need someone worth following. So I challenge you. Be that person. Not perfect. None of us are. Not omniscient. That's an illusion. But present. Courageous. Clear about what matters even when the how is murky. Vulnerable enough to admit uncertainty. Strong enough to move forward anyway. Consistent enough that your team knows what you stand for. Adaptive enough that they know you can learn and evolve. Because in the end, organizations don't fail because the market shifted, or technology evolved, or competition intensified. Those are just circumstances. Organizations fail when leaders forget that in times of transformation, people aren't looking for certainty. That's impossible to provide. They're looking for someone who makes them believe that together they can create something worth the uncertainty. You are that person, you must be. The road is invisible, it won't be for some time. But your people are looking at you, and they're making a decision about whether to follow. Make sure when they look, they see someone worth following. Not because you have all the answers, but because you're committed to finding them together. That is leadership. That is your mandate. That is your moment. Now go earn it.